Brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? And welcome to another great edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, and we got a terrific show for you guys, as always. Real special guest gonna be on the phone in a minute. But first things first, let me go ahead and introduce the panel as we always do at this time. On the phone, I got my man Kirk Jackson. He's a boxing writer, former boxer. Check out his website, boxinginsider.com. And in the studio, I got the man over here, my man Milton Arline. What's going on, Milt?
Not much, Dante. What's good, baby?
All right, man. We gonna get it in, man.
For sure.
Now, let me go ahead and introduce my very special guest. Let me make sure he's on the line because he was gonna call back. But anyway, man, this dude is one of the best prospects, and you guys gonna be hearing a lot about this man in a minute, man. Probably in about a year right now. But he been knocking everybody out straight out of UK, 9-0 with 8 knockouts. My man Anthony Yarde is on the phone. What's going on, Anthony? Okay, we gonna wait for Anthony to call back. He was on the phone, and I told him to call back. So, Anthony, you there?
Yeah, just starts.
Okay. So we got my man Jonathan, who introduced me to Anthony, which we're going to talk about that as well. Mr. Entrepreneur, a.k.a. the manager, the businessman. What's going on, Jonathan?
What's going on, man? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's good now?
All right, y'all.
What's
so
going on, man?
let's go ahead and get it in, man. So like I said, we'll give my man Anthony Yarde a minute to call back. Like I told you guys before, I told him to call back. But it's a lot of news that I want to talk about. And my man Jonathan, first things first, man, I want you to kind of, go over how you introduced me to Anthony Yarde, which I really appreciate because, my man be hustling. He be getting out, meeting everybody out there and doing his thing. So go ahead and elaborate on that, John.
Right. Actually, right before I get on that, I think Anthony just joined, so he's on the call right now.
Okay, Anthony, you there?
Yeah, hey, yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
there we
okay.
go. All right, the champ is here now. So, I already gave you an introduction before you called back, man. So welcome to the show, bro. So anyway.
Yeah, so
go ahead, John.
How it happened was we have his trainer, Tunde, is a friend of mine that I've met through a mutual friend at one point in time. And, we got together. My mutual friend told me that Tunde and Anthony was actually going to be in town in Vegas. I met up with them and, we hit it off. We met each other and I had a talk and, we just really knocked it off. They're two good people. I had a chance to sit with Anthony, talk with him, speak beyond boxing as well as with Tunde and just get to pick their brains. And, I mean, they're really solid dudes. We were looking for an outlet in regards to getting Anthony in the States and getting his notoriety as he should have here in the States, letting everybody know about, the next future light heavyweight champion of the world, which is Anthony Yarde. So, of course, we did our research and due diligence and came up with Dante's Boxing Nation, man. And, it was all history from there. After I sent you an email, you responded back and what was it, a few hours later, we were at the hotel doing the interview, huh?
Man. That's what's up, man. And it's always a great feeling, man, to be introduced to like the future of the sport, man.
Yes.
Real talk, man. Speaking of that, Anthony, I was my man over here, Milton. He was just watching your highlights and he was real impressed. What was you saying about that knockout on that Canelo undercard?
Oh my God, man! That hand speed, man, is superior, bro. You turn that jab. You was hitting him with the jab and turned it over to a lead hook so quick. My man had no time to react.
Yeah.
I mean, one question I have for you, who do you look at, past or present as fighters that you kind of take a little bit of their styles or you like to emulate? I'm
Could
sorry.
you repeat that? Could someone else repeat that?
Anthony, who inspired you the most?
Who inspires you the most?
Style
past or
wise,
present?
fighters.
Well, in terms of style, obviously, if you look at my fights and look at my training and things like that, I look at people that failed me over. I look at the sport in itself, and I see that the aim of the game is to hit and not get hit. And Flo's proven that he's been the best at that in terms of like stats and things like that. And then you got to watch the greats like the Muhammad Ali's, Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson. You know, all the exciting fighters, the fighters that made a name for themselves in the ring and that. So I try and I pick different fighters, even like Chavez Jr. Not junior, sorry, senior.
Senior.
And I look at all the greats, and it's like I put them into like a box, and I try and study all of them and try and make it as much as putting my own flair into it as well. Try and mix it up.
And that's the combination you definitely been displaying, man.
Yes.
So when can we expect to see you back in the ring, champ?
Well, I'm looking to get out as early as possible. My promoter Frank Warren, he just signed a deal with a TV channel, BT Sports. So my next fight will be on BT Sports. So the next date,
BT Sports.
will be April 8th.
Nice.
Say that again.
You said BET Sports?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, BT Sports. Yeah.
That's what it is.
So it's a bigger platform for us. So it's either going to be April 8th or April 22nd. So I'm just waiting for confirmation and waiting for an opponent as well.
Now you 9-0 with 8 knockouts. Are you starting to find it hard? Do you get any opponents pulling out already when they see who they got to face, or what?
Yeah, well, it's been hard. It was hard for me in the amateur scene, and it's still hard for me in the pro ranks because like almost every fight I've had, someone's agreed to fight me and then they will pull out. So even when I came to America and I fought on the Canelo Smith undercard, the guy that we had, I think he had something like a whole 2 weeks notice. He pulled that last minute. We had to get another guy. He came in. He obviously took the mick, and he's a veteran in the game, so he knows the game. He came in heavy. He came in, I think, over a stone heavier than me. So, I tried to drink water, eat a bit of food as well to put on as much weight as I could. Because I found out like an hour before his weight, because he lied about his weight. But it's all experience for me, so it don't really matter. And I just go from there, man. I try not to worry about my opponents because at this stage, I'm just learning in the ring as well as out of the ring. And where the aspirations I've got anyway, like where I want to get to, the ambition I've got. If I can't knock out or beat the guys put in front of me at this stage, then I shouldn't really be boxing. So that's the mind frame I'm going there with.
Yeah, so you just want to remain consistent, just keep knocking them out and stay active and everything, right? That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. I mean, now with that being said, how soon? I mean, obviously, you're gonna get the experience and everything, but how soon do you see yourself really turning it up? Another year or so, to where we start seeing you as one of the top 10 contenders?
Well, I believe everything's timing. So, it could be within the next 2 fights, or it could be within the next 10 fights. That's not really my job. I leave that down to obviously number one, God, and then Frank Warren and Tunde Ajayi. That's their job to actually look into my opponents, which route I'm going to take, and my job is to just keep doing what I'm doing, knocking people out in good fashion, train hard, and take the sport seriously.
Well, I will say that, right now the light heavyweight division is about as exciting as it has ever been, as it's been in the past 15 years. It's really packing in. At what point do you think that you're going to be ready to seize that, the crown and be the light heavyweight champion, undisputed, or light heavyweight champion of the world? How long do you think that will be?
It's very hard to hear you. It's hard to hear you.
My mic is not good.
Yeah, I'll turn your mic up. But let me kind of ask. Well, let me go ahead and ask this question, man. Since you're in the light heavyweight division right now, Anthony, what do you think? I just want to get your thoughts on the whole Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev situation. Who did you thought won that fight, and what do you think about a possible rematch?
first of all, the possible rematch, I see it as very unlikely. Reasons for that is because you know, if you look at the actual fight, it was a tough fight for Wood, and unless there's something going to play, I don't think he's going to fight him again unless within himself he feels like he's got a point to prove. Who I thought won the fight, I thought Wood just edged it, or I gave it a draw. The reason I thought Wood just edged it was because if you look at from he got dropped, I say he lost the first 2 rounds, and then the third round was very close. I say from that point onwards, from the third round onwards, Wood took a lot of the rounds. Kovalev came back, I think around 10 and 11, and then Wood again in round 12. So I think a lot of people wasn't counting a lot of the body shots and the inside fighting that Wood was doing. If you look at it as a fight, I will give it to Kovalev, but as a boxing match, being scored round by round, I gave it to Wood.
Okay. And like you said, you don't think because it's such a tough fight, because we're hearing Andre Ward right now, he's saying he doesn't know if he's going to continue his career or not, because obviously he has a rematch clause with Sergey Kovalev. So, you know, you make some good points, Anthony. He knows that he realizes it was a tough fight. Sergey Kovalev realizes it was a tough fight because even Sergey said that he wants to hire a second trainer. He wants an additional trainer, you know, for a possible rematch. So we know how tough that fight was. Now, Anthony, if you could break down your boy Chris Eubanks' performance this past weekend, he knocked out Reynold Quinlan. What do you think about his performance? And is he ready for the likes of DeGale, Golovkin, because he's calling all these fighters out?
Well, I actually went to the fight. I think it was a good performance. You know, he done everything asked of him. He won every round easily, and he beat the guy up, and that was fighting for a world title. So, you know, you can't knock him. He's doing his thing right now. In terms of calling out people like Golovkin, I feel like it's publicity because Golovkin, as you can see from his record and people he's fought, he's a murderous puncher. Yeah, he hasn't fought anyone with the punch output of Chris Eubanks, but I'll say Chris Eubanks, I haven't seen them stand next to each other, but he, in terms of structure, like his shoulders ain't as big. He definitely don't hit as hard. And if you look at Golovkin's amateur career as well, obviously amateur and pro is different, but right now Golovkin's a seasoned and very tough professional. If you look at his amateur background as well, like, he's never been rocked, knocked out, nothing. He's been sparring light heavyweights as well, so he's a big guy that makes middleweight. Mm-hmm. So I think in that sense, Chris Eubanks, I don't think he's ready for that fight yet. Could he be in the future? Possibly, but not right now. The girl, it will be a very interesting fight.
Yes, it will be.
I know that they sparred each other a few times as well when Chris Eubanks was early in his career, and then they had arguments over it because Chris Eubanks was saying that he beat him up basically. So in terms of the British scene, it's interesting in this. You know, it will be exciting for British boxing.
Absolutely. And guys, I just put the number on the screen, so if you guys want to call in and ask Anthony a couple questions before we let him go, feel free to go ahead and call in. Now, something else I want to ask you about, champ. You know, this is like one of the biggest trending topics right now, Errol Spence, or I should say Kell Brook versus Errol Spence. You know, right now, your boy Kell Brook, he's the he's the champion. He's the IBF champion. Errol Spence, he's the number one mandatory. Kell Brook, he's talking about possibly giving up his belt, fighting someone else. What's your thoughts on this whole situation? Should he give up his belt and fight someone else? What do you think about that whole situation, Anthony?
Well, the whole situation is the whole welterweight division is wary of Errol Spence. You know, he's one of the guys coming through. And it's just going to take a true champion to give him a shot, because that's what happens in boxing. You got a guy coming through, you know, they call it a prospect, and then there's guys that are holding the crown, and it's like one of them guys have to give the prospect or the guy that's breaking through an opportunity, and that's what boxing's all about. Giving him that. He's worked just as hard as you to get to that point. You worked very hard to get to where you was. He's worked just as hard to get to that point. So I think you should give him a shot. If he's number one mandatory, then fight him. boxing nowadays is a lot about money and all these other things. So if there's a bigger money fight, which is right now what's being discussed, is Amir Khan for Kell Brook. That's the only way I can really see him not taking that fight. Because from what I know of Kell Brook, he wouldn't say he's scared of anyone. He just wants big fights. And if Errol Spence ain't a big enough fight, that's the only reason I can see him not taking that fight. In terms of how much he'll get paid for it, the exposure he will get for it, I think that's the only reason he won't take that fight, is if he wants a fight with more publicity. So I don't think he wants a Golovkin rematch. But anyone bigger, so Amir Khan, that's a massive fight in the UK and probably in America as well. You got Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman fighting. The winner of that fight, or even the loser of that fight, will be a big fight for him. So, there's other options. I know Errol Spence, and I like Errol Spence. I want him to get the shot. Will it happen? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and the biggest question, Anthony, is regardless how big the Amir Khan fight, is it worth it for him to give up his championship belt that he earned? Is it worth that much for him to take the Amir Khan fight? I mean, because after all, he can always take the Khan fight after the Errol Spence as well, because Khan, he just got knocked out. So regardless if Kell Brook loses or not, they'll both be coming off of a loss, right? So will it lose steam, or what do you think? Should he vacate in the situation, or what? I know. Go ahead.
I don't think. I think the only reason he could vacate is if he gets a bigger opportunity. So if he gets to fight for another belt, and then he has to vacate that belt because of how long he's held the belt without defending it, then yeah, go for the bigger opportunity. But if there's no opportunity presenting itself, then be a true champion, defend your belt. If you can't move on to bigger and better things, Errol Spence, everyone knows he can fight, and he's a threat. So it's in terms of advisors and things like that Kell Brook's got around him. Everyone knows that boxing is a business, and you've got all these people advising on what to do. You've got promoters getting involved. There's a big situation going on right now with Canelo and Golovkin. Me personally, I don't think Canelo's scared. I think he gets to fight him, but then you've got promotional and managers, people behind you that are advising you different and making you look at a bigger picture. So it's a catch-22. I think he should fight him. It will be exciting. It will put Errol Spence on the map as well, like globally.
Of course.
So it'll be good for boxing to fight.
Yeah, and like you just said, it'll put Errol Spence on the map. So if Errol Spence were to beat Kell Brook, nobody could ever say they don't really know who Kell Brook is after that. Anthony, before I let you go, let's take a call and see what we got. Let me see. We got.
Dante,
go ahead. Is that AK?
I would like to ask. I would like to answer me a question about quick.
Go ahead.
First of all, it was an honor to speak to you, Anthony. I'm a big fan. But as far as your pro career, like as far as your amateur career, you didn't have an extensive amateur career. So how long do you think it's gonna take you? Like how many fights, or how many, like a year or two before you fight for a title shot? What do you think?
Well, thank you, man, and nice to speak to you too. And in terms of going forward, I train my ass off. Everyone knows that the gym and in the ring is two different things. I'm still learning my craft. As you said, I've only had 12 amateur fights, 11 knockouts as well. So them fights didn't go the distance. I've had 9 professional fights, 8 knockouts. So then most of them fights didn't go the distance. So I'm learning on the job as well as in the gym. How long it will take, I genuinely don't know. It could be within the next year. It could be within the next 2 years. Hopefully it ain't that long. But I'm in no rush as well. I'm a person that's obsessed with progression. So as long as I'm getting better each fight and I'm progressing at a rate that I'm happy with, I'm good. I do, obviously, with my ambition, I do want to fight for titles in the UK as well as world titles. That's the main goal, to get to a world title level. And eventually take over the division. I'm serious about the sport as well. And then same position Errol Spence is in, where people are talking about him and he's knocking on the door of a world title shot. I want to get to that position as well.
I was looking at that also. Can you hear me now? Anthony?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And it's obvious that you are a student of the game and that you follow the sport extremely close. Who do you think is the biggest threat, or who do you think is on top of the light heavyweight division right now? Who would you say is the man in your opinion? The man to beat.
Well, even though he's new to the division, you'll have to say it's Andre Ward.
Okay.
I know there's talks of him retiring, but Andre Ward, you know, he's had an amazing career without all the injuries and things like that. You know, he took over the super middleweight division, he bossed that division, and then he came to light heavyweight. Didn't really take no easy fight.
No.
I think he had one fight which was they classed as a warm up. Then he fought a guy that was undefeated, and that, you know, had a lot of knockouts in his record. He beat him as well, quite comfortably, and then he fought the number one in the division, the most feared man in the division.
Yep.
And in my opinion, beat him. So yeah, you say Andre Ward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And let's go ahead.
And
Go ahead, AK.
another question right quick. Yeah, just another question right quick. As far as, you know, you, Anthony, like, it seems like you're really big for light heavyweight, and but I don't know if you could make the weight comfortably. So you seem like you have the skills and the talent to win a world title. So in the near future, like 4 years from now, would you plan on going to cruiserweight and getting a title there, title shot there? You know, fighting for a belt at cruiserweight as well, or just you plan on maintaining at light heavyweight for the rest of your career?
Well, yeah, 100%. As you said, I'm a big light heavyweight. So as I get older and I feel like, you know, if I can make the cruiserweight division and I can be strong and still as athletic and things like that, which I believe I can be, then of course, looking at history, all the great champions went up in weight. So eventually that's what I want to do as well, 100%.
That's what it is, man.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and take a call. So we're going to call these callers out by the area code. All right, we have area code 901. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Dante?
What's going on, brother?
Hey,
What's your name? What's your name? Where you coming from? Where you calling from?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This Mario, man. I'm calling from Memphis, Tennessee.
All right.
What's going on?
First of all, I want to, say, how's everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? I love the show. And I want to put y'all on the spot for a minute.
All right. All right, here we go.
All right. So
Don't put yourself on the spot now.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself on the spot now. No. Go ahead.
All right. So here we go. So we all know Kell Brook doesn't want to fight Spence. That's probably going to be a career ending for him because he already has he already got hurt on the Golovkin fight.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's just say hypothetically, Spence, he kind of gets too big for the welterweight division and he goes to 154. I got two questions. First, do you think that he will be competitive in the 154 division? That's the first question. And the second.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What you say?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so here's my two questions. The first question is, do you think Errol Spence will compete
At the 154 pound
good
division.
in the 154 division?
Uh-huh.
And the second question is, do you think Erickson Lubin could beat Jermell Charlo at 154?
Woo. You know what, man? I might, get in trouble when I say this, man. But Erickson Lubin, to me, he's like the Errol Spence of 154 right now, man. But since we got my man Anthony Yarde on the phone right now, I want Anthony to chime in on that before I touch on that. Anthony, what do you think about his first question? Do you think he said that basically Errol Spence, Kell Brook's career will be over if he faces Errol Spence, and can he compete at 154? What would you answer that, Anthony?
Well, I think Errol Spence will do fantastic at 154. I think that's his natural weight
Or Kell
anyway.
Brook. I think he was he talking about Kell Brook or Errol Spence?
He said Errol Spence.
Oh, okay. My bad. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's his natural weight anyway.
I do
see
too.
him as well spar big guys, so I think he will do well at 154. And do I think? What was the other question? What was the second question?
Well, he had basically said that he believes that Errol Spence, Kell Brook will pretty much be done if they fight, each other. If Kell Brook fights Errol Spence, Kell Brook will most likely be done. You agree with that assessment, or what?
I wouldn't say done. You know, in boxing, it just depends on your character. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's been great champions that have lost fights and all them kind of things and come back and been better. When you lose a fight, no one knows until it happens. You know, everyone knows Errol Spence is a unit, and he comes forward. He's an intelligent boxer. You know, he's strong. Everything. He's got all the attributes. So, but Kell Brook again, the only person that's really setting back is Golovkin. You know, which is right now he's ranked as number 1 in the middleweight division and probably top 3 in the world. So you can't really knock him too much on that. And within that fight as well, he wasn't knocked out or anything like that. He showed courage even with a broken eye socket. So, you know, he's a as well. So that's a fight. Anyway.
I like. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, you know, it's to down Kell Brook, because I like Kell Brook. I mean, Kell Brook can fight, but the reason why I said that, I don't feel like he should fight Errol Spence after a loss to Golovkin because of the eye socket. Because you going up, you fought Golovkin, but then you got, you know, he could damage that eye socket. Like Errol Spence could really damage that eye socket again.
Definitely.
So, you know, that could be a career-ending. I feel like that could be a career-ending decision. So I feel like he, you know, I just feel like he has to really, you know, think about this. Yeah,
it's definitely dangerous.
I agree with you.
Well, to answer your second question, will Errol Spence be competitive at 154? Now, as far as Errol Spence, he'd be competitive any weight.
Anyway.
At 154, by the time he move up to 154, which would probably be like 2 or 3 years from now, the two fighters that will give him problems, and I'm talking about serious problems, Erislandy Lara and Demetrius Andrade. But them two, in 3 or 4 years, I don't think they're going to be at 154. It'll most likely be at 160. So he probably takes over that position by then. But if he moves up now, and fight Andrade and stuff, now those fights could give him problems, because he's going against guys with his type of skill, and they have huge reach and size and height advantage over him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I see.
And let me just say something. Because I got a little mixed up with your question. I thought you was asking, if Kell Brook moved up to 154.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and retract what I said. I don't see anybody beating Errol Spence. Me personally, I just don't see. I think Kell Brook would beat Errol Spence. I've said this on numerous videos. I think Kell Brook would be Errol Spence's toughest fight at 147. But with that being said, I don't see anybody beating Errol Spence. But let me go ahead and get back to Anthony. And hey, thanks for your call, man. We're gonna go to another call. Take care, okay, man?
But one thing I wanted to notice,
man.
one thing I wanted to note too, especially about the 54 division. I mean, it is packed right now. It is like it's bottlenecked, and somebody is going to have to emerge, especially with Jamal moving out of the way and moving up to 160. It kind of opens it up a little bit, but it's still kind of packed in that 154 division, because we were just talking about Jarrett Hurd and Harrison fighting on the Deontay Wilder undercard.
That Wilder card, Wilder versus Washington, is a great card. It's a great card. Tony Harrison versus Jarrett Hurd, Caleb Plant, all on that card. That's a fantastic card.
Fantastic card. But and then like you were talking about my man, your prospect of the year last year,
Erickson Lubin, the hammer.
Yeah, I mean it's really crowded, and then you're gonna have Demetrius Andrade fighting for a title coming up in March. He's fighting for the he's fighting in Germany. Jack Colquet. In Germany. So I mean it's really packed at 154. If Kell Brook does move up to 154, the competition is not going to get any easier.
Yeah.
So I don't. He's kind of a tweener, in my opinion. His weight, I think he's outgrown 47, to tell you the truth. And if he moves up to 54, he kind of stuck, because there's a lot of killers up there at 54 also.
Absolutely. Now, Anthony, something else I want to ask you before I let you go, man. Since you look like a heavyweight, I might as well ask you some heavyweight questions, man. Your boy, matter of fact, you can share your relationship. I hear you know Anthony Joshua pretty well. But if you can elaborate on the type of relationship you guys have, and what do you think? Break down that Anthony Joshua versus Klitschko fight.
No, I've only met Anthony Joshua on one occasion.
Oh, okay.
We don't speak or anything like that. Yeah, we don't speak
Well,
or anything
correction.
like that. But I respect what he's doing and what he's done so far. In terms of can he beat Klitschko, I think he definitely can beat him. Quite possibly knock him out. The perfect time to be fighting Klitschko as well. Because Klitschko is also coming off of a loss. And I think even though he didn't get hurt in the fight against Tyson Fury, he got discouraged in terms of that looking shocked. Because he couldn't throw any punches in that fight for whatever reason. Is Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury? Does he fight like Tyson Fury? No. He's more tailor-made for Klitschko's style. So, it's an interesting fight. But as I said, Anthony Joshua is a young, strong champion right now. With a lot of confidence, a lot of support behind him. And I think he can get the job done.
I hear you, man. So you going for Anthony. It's funny, man, because I've surprisingly heard a lot of people actually leaning slightly towards Vladimir Klitschko. Carl Froch, Gerald Washington, they were telling me that they thought he would win that fight. And my bad, man. I guess I was stereotyping you guys since y'all got the same name, thinking y'all automatically was homies and road dogs. I blame that partially on Jonathan, though. Nah, Jonathan, I'm messing with you, John.
But I was reading a report today where Lennox Lewis was saying that he thinks if Emmanuel Stewart was still here, Klitschko would still be champion and he would probably beat Anthony Joshua. But he thinks it's his corner. He thinks he's not training properly. Klitschko, that is, and he thinks that I have a lot of respect and admiration for Emmanuel Stewart, but I don't know if he could save him. I don't know if he could at this point in his career. I don't know if I think the young lion is his time. I think it's Anthony Joshua's time. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think it would be tougher. Klitschko will come with his head screwed on better than he did against Fury, but I really think that it's the young lion's time right now, and I think Joshua takes this fight.
Yeah, I see it as extremely competitive, man. I mean, I don't believe when people say that Vladimir Klitschko is old and past his prime, because he's preserved himself. He
hasn't taken that much punishment.
That health bar is still damn near full right now. He doesn't really get hit too much. Look at the Tyson Fury fight; he didn't even get touched. You know what I mean? So.
People got to realize Tyson Fury is a very unique style and a unique fighter in himself. Being so tall, having a longer range than Klitschko, and just being so nimble for his size too. We got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and speaking of Anthony Joshua, I just want to ask Anthony what's his thoughts on, Joshua. He posted a tweet of him being in the mosque, and he received a lot of criticism. Because he was praying in the mosque, the people found out that he was a Muslim and stuff, and he was received. A lot of people was talking mad trash, and he received a lot of criticism. And he was just saying, like, Ali was a Muslim too. Like, what is all this bashing for? What's the thoughts on that?
I just think people will be people, and no matter what you choose to do in your life, people are going to criticize you and. Some people are going to be with you, some people are going to be against you. And if you're getting criticised for what religion is, that just shows you how messed up the world is. I don't know if I can say on the show right now what I was going to say, but it shows you how messed up this world is. If you're going to get criticised for what religion you are, then the world is just mad. So, if he is Muslim, obviously some Muslims are criticised for some terrorism things that are happening. But then again, every religion has that behind them. And the main part of being a Muslim is to live in peace and good heart, same as every other religion. So obviously there's bad people in some religions and there's good people in some religions. So if you're practicing to be a good Muslim, what's the problem with it?
Very well said, brother. Very well said.
I hear you, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, well, Anthony, because I know it's like damn near almost 2 o'clock in the morning out there in the UK, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, man. When you get your fight scheduled.
Well, one more question.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. One more question before he goes. You kind of mentioned it, but I was wondering. His last fight that I checked out on I think it was Showtime or something. It lasted a minute or two. Are you coming back to the US and fighting again, or is your next fight gonna be in the UK? And if you have a date, did you already have a date set up or anything?
My next fight, would definitely be in the UK. The 2 dates I've got is the 8th of April, and that's in Manchester, Manchester Arena. And then we've got the 22nd, and I don't think that venue's been confirmed yet. So yeah, we'll be in the UK. Do I want to come back to America? 100%. I loved it out there. It was the best experience of my career so far. And you know, one day, eventually, I want to fight in the Mecca of boxing, Las Vegas, MGM Grand. So, you know, I'm working my way up, so hopefully I'll be headlining shows out there one day.
All right, man. Well, once again, thank you for your time, man. Like I said, once you find out who you fighting, we'll bring you back on the show, man, so you can at least announce it and everything. Anything else you want to say to your fans?
Definitely.
You want them to follow you on your social media and everything?
Yeah, man, just keep following, keep supporting. My social media, Twitter and Instagram is Mr. Anthony Yarde. That's MrAnthony, and then YARDE. Yeah, keep supporting, man. Keep following the journey. And yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Oh, anytime, man. Thanks for doing the show with us, as always, man. I'll catch up with you on the next one, all right, Ant? All right.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, take care, man.
No
And shouts out to my man Tunde, AJ, boxing trainer, the man who trained Anthony. Shouts out to him, man. And Jonathan, for you guys who, you know, just tuned in, Jonathan, my man, he's the one. He's a boxing entrepreneur. He represents Team Anthony Yarde. Matter of fact, that's how I met Anthony Yarde, through my man Jonathan. So he's on the line as well, man. But hey, Jonathan, real quick, man, before I take another call, what was your thoughts on Chris?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on Chris Eubanks' performance, man, this past weekend?
You know, after that was a hell of a performance after his few month break there, especially with him, you know, taking care of that injury that he did have. He was hitting extremely hard, what I thought, and you know, he performed very well. I think now with him winning this world title, he will be he can't be denied, or he's going to be now more in topic of conversation when it comes to bigger fights. And he's just going to have to back everything up that he's been saying. Do I think he's got the potential to take down some of these big guys? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. He trains. His training ethic is remarkable, and you know, he's got confidence. And a lot of people mistake confidence for cockiness. And you know, I think he's just very confident, and you know, he's a natural born winner in my case, and he just needs to continue to perform, you know, at the level he's doing and better.
Yeah, and you know, we got to see it, man. I really hope. I mean, if Golovkin were to get past Danny Jacobs, I think that would be a fantastic fight, man. Chris Eubank versus Golovkin.
Serious money fight too.
Yeah, I mean, power. I think Chris Eubanks' power can match Golovkin's. I think is similar type of power, and he can fight on the inside. Yeah. He has them uppercuts, man, which I keep talking about. Kell Brook was nailing Golovkin. Yeah, and we seen what Kell Brook was doing with them uppercuts when he fought against Golovkin. So, you know, so yeah, it would be an interesting fight.
Chris Eubank likes to extend all the way out as well. You know, it's just not a quick pop shot. He likes to throw his whole shoulder and just raise his hand all the way through. So your neck is definitely whipping back there. And that's definitely going to test the chin of Golovkin in a different way. I mean, when you know, when he was receiving those uppercuts before, he did take them, but you know, everyone hits differently. And you know, like I said, with my brother Anthony Yarde, you know, not to get off topic, you know, a couple words that come to my mind when I think of him is intelligence in the boxing ring, confidence, patience. Timing is everything, and that's something that that Tunde has instilled in everyone. And I mean, it's timing is everything. You be patient, you're gonna get your window of opportunity.
That can take
and
a
it
fighter
definitely
a long
shows
way.
in Anthony's performance in the ring when he does get that window of opportunity, as everyone sees in his videos. He definitely takes advantage of it, and I mean, it'll be not even a second. He's in there and out there, and the guy's on the tarmac. You know, he's down.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I totally agree. He's a special fighter, and like I said, I know UK, they're gonna really be buzzing about him. Matter of fact, what type of reception is he getting out there right now? Are you familiar with it, John?
He's definitely, you know, obviously I'm here in the States, so I see kind of what everyone else sees. I haven't been able to get out there. But from what I see, man, I mean, they're loving him. They're loving him. He's definitely respected amongst his peers over there in the UK. And I mean, he carries a personality with him, and just that type of aura that it's like you cannot not like that guy.
Right.
I mean, just talking to Anthony on the phone, you hear him when he talks. It's like,
Yes.
he's it's like warming. You know what I mean?
Really engaging and charismatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't hear like, oh, this guy's an asshole.
No, not
this,
at
that,
all.
and the other.
No.
He's professional. He's very intelligent, and he's very outgoing as well. And that says a lot about a fighter when he's in the ring and out of the ring.
Right.
That's what makes a really great fighter. And to be honest with you, I'm honored to be able to promote Anthony in the States and get his name out. And I definitely want everybody in the U.S. to follow this guy and keep your eyes on him, because he's the future. He is definitely the future. And you guys remember that John Jay and Dante said it first. Anthony Yarde, the future of boxing.
There you go.
I believe
in
it.
the U.S., this is going to be the next biggest name.
Yeah, that's
No
man.
doubt.
That's
No
what
doubt.
it is. Hey, well, John, I know you busy over there too, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. If is anything else on your mind, man, before I let you go, man.
No, I just wanted to say thank you, man. Thank you, Dante, for giving us this opportunity, man. I appreciate everybody that's called. I appreciate everybody on the line. We look forward to definitely getting some more publicity and getting some more fans and just getting everybody on board, man, and continue to show support and love for Anthony and definitely subscribe to Dante's Boxing Nation if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed yet.
All
'Cause
day.
If you haven't, then you're definitely doing things incorrectly.
Okay.
So definitely show love to
Preach.
my boy Dante.
Preach.
And yeah, man, I'm out. I gotta go do daddy daycare now, man. So
Hey.
I appreciate everybody. God bless. And
God
till
bless.
Next time, brother.
All right,
care.
take care. And next time, man, you're gonna have to go ahead and spend that gas money and drive over here to the studio, man.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
we get
most
you.
definitely.
Yeah.
I need my camera time.
Yeah,
I need my
yeah.
camera time. So,
Yeah.
And we go. Me and Dante's got another little interview that we're gonna be in the boiling pot. We're gonna whip up for you guys.
Absolutely.
Something special. So that's gonna be coming up in the near future here. So yes, most definitely. I'll be over there, brother.
Absolutely, man. All right, bro. I'll catch up with you on the next one. All right, fam?
All right, man. God bless. Later.
All right, man. That was my man, Jonathan, man. So now let's go ahead and real quick, Milton. We're gonna try to keep you in the studio for as long as we can, man.
Gotcha.
But I want to talk about this news with Golovkin, AK and Kirk. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and throw y'all a curveball. Kirk, man, let me ask you, man, if I told you that Teddy Atlas was talking about Golovkin and someone asked him where do you rate or where do you rank Golovkin in the top 10 pound for pound list, what do you think he said?
I actually heard that he does not have him ranked in the top 10 at all.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And I agree.
Yeah. I mean, and see, this is my whole thing, Kirk. And this is my whole thing. Now, you notice, ain't nobody calling Teddy Atlas racist. Ain't nobody calling him a punk ass, this and that and all that kind of stuff. You mean, boy, we got to get that hope insurance, man. I'm telling you. That shit cover everything, Milt. I'm telling you, man.
I'm telling you. Hey, but Kurt, do you recall me last week almost saying the
Yeah, you
exact
touched
same
on it.
thing on Monday? I touched on that.
Yeah.
That I thought he was a tremendous middleweight, but he wasn't necessarily a pound for pound type fighter.
Yeah, you did say that, and that's because you can actually, let's just say, even if you like the fighter,
I'm going to
which
be
I think-
honest.
I think you like Golovkin.
I do.
Oh, and
I do.
Milton is a huge Golovkin fan.
I am.
And that just goes to show
Right.
you. Go ahead, Kirk.
Yeah, you're keeping it real. Like, there's certain fighters I
Gotta
like,
keep it
but
real.
if they're not, what they're advertised, you got to keep it real and be responsible and say what's the truth.
You know, sometimes that gets me in trouble. Sometimes they get me in trouble with my people too. Black folks think that if I say something critical of a black fighter, that I don't like black fighters, which is dumb as hell.
Yeah.
But
You
I'm
get
just
it from
going to tell
You
it
get it from every direction. man.
from every direction. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion. Especially I know the people they look at it from the fan point of view. I'm trying to be as objective as possible.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily a fan. I'm a fan of boxing more so than I am one particular fighter. And if I'm giving it to you, I'm going to give it to you straight. And if it's a fighter that I like, I'm going to give a critique or an assessment that sometimes, might not always be what they want to hear either. But I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be, man, the whole truth. Like I said, man, you have to be able to separate emotions from logic.
Right.
If you can't do that, you in the wrong business of talking the boxing game.
Right.
I mean, it's like, once again, I have so many examples. But, for example, when Golovkin fought against Curtis Stevens, I'm rooting for Curtis Stevens.
I was too. I ain't gonna lie.
He American. He looked like me,
right.
And grew up listening to the same music I listen to. I'm rooting for him, for my own countrymen, right? But when I did my video, my breakdown prediction video, who did I lean towards? I leaned towards Golovkin, and the video is still up. Right. I picked Golovkin to win the fight, even though I was rooting for my own countrymen. Right. But I was able to separate personal feelings,
and you got to be able to do that
from talking boxing, without being biased. And that's what the majority of people cannot do. The majority of decafs. It takes a nation of 1 million decafs to hold me back. You see the goddamn shirt. You feel me? You see the damn shirt. We not playing with him. Yeah, man. But Teddy, go ahead, Kirk.
No, that was me.
Oh, go ahead, AK. Go ahead, AK.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think you're picking Golovkin versus Daniel Jacob, and Jacob, you can't find a better story, than that. Like he beat cancer, and he's a good guy. He's a family person, and this and that, and then and you still put your bias aside, and go based on the, like what you think is who's gonna win the fight based on the whole truth. Now, and speaking of Golovkin not being on the top 10 pound for pound, I won't mind if you have him like number 10 or 9, but you definitely can't have him on the top.
I agree with you.
I've heard a lot of people say that too. Yeah,
you could put him. You could put him at the bottom. You could put him in the bottom 10. I totally agree with that, because I didn't really speak on. I didn't give my thoughts on that. I would put him somewhere in the bottom 10. Maybe like you said, around 8, somewhere like that. Because no doubt about it, he is the best middleweight in the world right now. There's no doubt. And this is not, Milton, this is not really a knock on Golovkin. It's just the fact that we haven't seen him in there.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
We haven't 100%. Seen him in there with the Thurman, like a Thurman Garcia fight, like a Mayweather Corrales fight, a Mayweather Pacquiao fight. We haven't seen him in there with that type of competition
But I will
yet.
say this. Roy Jones had that knock on him for a long time.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, man, it's the era is what it is what it is.
But Roy did fight Bernard Hopkins in his prime,
he
though,
did,
to win the title.
He did.
And that was a hell of a win.
But out of all those fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he had to beat who was there. It wasn't nobody there but Gerald McClellan. That's the only fight I would say he didn't get.
After he beat Tony? Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. After he beat Tony, he fought Tony, he fought Roy, he fought Bernard Hopkins. But after he beat them, he kind of took a little bit of a vacation for a minute, but then he got right back in the competition and he started fighting the top guys. But once again, when you look at the contrast, Golovkin he's never faced a Bernard Hopkins. He's never faced a James Toney
this is true.
In his prime. Go ahead, AK.
Man, please don't compare Golovkin to Roy Jones.
No. I'm not comparing him. I'm not Hold on, AK. Hold on. Easy, man. I'm not comparing. Never would compare those two.
Something, Milt.
No, Roy Jones, man, is one of my favorite fighters of all time, bro. No, I'm not comparing him to Roy Jones. I'm comparing the eras. Because even though Roy was fighting top competition, he was blowing through it so easily that it didn't look like it was top comp. And so I mean,
but as far as this era, like Golovkin had the chance to fight Andre Ward, the number 2 guy in his
of course,
that time, and he turned it down. Roy Jones will never turn down to fight the second pound for pound fighter, in his weight class or near his weight classes. And you got to keep in mind, Golovkin is 34 years old, and when Roy Jones was 34 years old, look who he beat. like by that time, and his resume and how he beat his opponents. And as far as like Golovkin, it's just the fact he can't be on the top 5 because of the fact that his height don't match his resume. When at this point in his career, when you got the best person on your resume is Kell Brook, I can't say you're on the top 5 when the best guy you beat was a welterweight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the thing about Golovkin. But in the near future, if he does win and he beats Jacob and he fights Canelo, because even the money fights, he's turning it down, even though he's gonna get $15 million for that fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're gonna make that happen. I think they're gonna make it happen.
Well,
you know, I mean, I know that it might happen soon, but at the end of the day, I'm saying, like, for now, it's kind of like it seems iffy because you kept calling the guy forever, and when they made a real good offer, you still kind of you turned it down. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about Golovkin that I don't understand. He could fight Lara. There's big fights for him and challenging fights, and that will look good on his resume. It's not like Rigondeaux situation or Errol Spence, where they can't find nobody. Like Rigondeaux, his own mandatories are turning him down, and he's a champion.
Yeah,
and he's the number 1 guy, 122, and still his own mandatories are turning him down, who have nothing to lose.
But hold on, AK. Yeah, let me. But we're gonna go ahead and let my man Milton go. Milton, he got to get out the studio right now.
Unfortunately, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sign off early. But one thing before I go, I want to give a shout out to my Dirty Birds. I'm still down with you. They didn't do too well last night in the Super Bowl, but I'm a Georgia boy, born and raised. Hey, man, and Fila, man. I will forever love Atlanta. So I wanted to give a shout out to my folks out there, man, in the Dirty, and don't worry about it. We still ride. But anyway, before I sign off, I also wanted to say another fight that everybody probably missed this weekend because it was on Unimos was Felix Verdejo.
Yeah, man.
He did not look too well in that fight, man.
He didn't look good?
He did not look good at all.
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't see the fight. So how did it play out?
It went 10. He got rocked real hard. Felix got rocked hard.
Wow.
I think in the 8th or 9th round. He recovered, but he was not as sharp. He pulled it out because he had enough rounds in the bag in the beginning of the fight, but towards the end, he was withering. It looked like he hadn't really trained real well for this fight. But he is not really in the discussion at that weight class.
And real quick, before you go now, since you brought that up, now, Milton, you notice how they talk about PBC, their fights are not big enough.
Let me tell you, man.
Look at they only did 3 million on regular TV and all this stuff. Milton, we didn't even know about this top ranked card.
I know,
we didn't even know about it.
I know. This is what's crazy to me, and I gotta go.
Yeah.
But I want to say this to everybody. Nobody talks about Dana White and the UFC and that they control a huge part of the MMA market.
Yeah.
They don't call that monopolizing. But you got Floyd and Al, who are, trying to put the best competition under their banner, and put them in big fights on regular TV. How is it that you can be upset with that?
How can you be?
And the
upset
thing
with
is, I don't care if they turn it into a PBC title. Mm-hmm. If they got the best heavyweights, the best light heavies, the best welters, the best at every division, and they're making them fight every 6 months, man, you can't argue with that. And that's one of the reasons why the UFC right now is outpacing boxing is because they have such a huge portion of the fighters in the MMA world, and then they put them in the mega fights every 6 months. Mm-hmm. They own all the titles. They own all the fighters, and there's only one title.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if there was only one title at every weight division?
We would be seeing
in boxing.
We would be seeing the Ali Frazier fights every damn month.
Every month.
Type of competition, man. Right. And let me just make a quick analogy. And let me just make a quick analogy. Like he was saying, you complaining about things that you would expect that boxing fans would actually want.
You would think they would want that.
That's like me being at work, being pissed off because they keep giving me raises.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? What the hell you mean you giving me another raise? What kind of shit is this? You know what I'm saying? This is basically how these fans basically act, man. You giving me extra sick days. I don't need no extra 20 sick days for a whole damn year. Who want that?
But it's because who's giving it to him.
It's who's giving it to him.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you real quick. I know you got to go, but it just made me think of one of my friends, one of my buddies, Scott. He's like, this dude Scott from Nebraska or whatever. But anyway, he was an old neighbor, and I remember he was on food stamps, right?
Right.
And we used to have some good ass barbecues because he got all the meat and everything. So he was like, "Come on, man, I got all the steaks, everything." We go over there. He get drunk. He start complaining about Obama. He said, if it wasn't for Obama, I wouldn't be on welfare. So, I'm like, wait, we over here eating all these steaks and you complaining about the man who gave you the steaks? But anyway, I know you got to go, man.
I got to go, man.
Hey, so that's my man Milton R-Line, man. We'll catch up with you on the next one, all right, man?
Okay, for sure,
Hopefully
brother.
we get an announcement, by the time you come back on this Spence versus Brooks situation.
For sure.
What I mean?
Kirk, A.K., y'all take it easy, man.
All
Peace,
right.
Dante, Boxing Nation.
All right.
All
right, bro.
I mean, I would
You breaking up. You breaking up, AK. You breaking up. Go ahead. You were breaking up. No, you still breaking up a little bit.
I guess make my point on.
Well, hold on. Before you do, let's see if let's get somebody else to talk to see if everybody breaking up. Kirk, you good?
What's up? I'm good. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, okay. We hearing them clear. Okay, so it's just you, AK. You
Yeah, hear me not good.
Nah,
you're still breaking up.
You in some tunnel right now, man.
Damn.
It's all. Go ahead. Try to get it. You know what? Let's take a call, man. Hold that thought, man. Let's try to take a call. We didn't have these cats on hold for a long time, man. I appreciate you guys staying on hold. So let's go ahead and take another call, man. We got 908. 908 is on the phone. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? It's Hector Barber from New Jersey.
Hector Barber. What's good, fam?
What's going on, brother? I'm a big fan of your show. I love your boxing talk.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. What's
Yeah, but I wanted to ask like a couple questions, right? Because you guys were talking about the Triple G, and you're right. He's very overrated, and I kind of look at him like Floyd Mayweather, to be honest. The only difference to me, I know you're going to be thinking, what this guy's saying. The reason why I say it's because
you just extended the show another hour now, man, with that one. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you know why? Because to me, I'm a humongous boxing fan, and I just look at it like, Mayweather had better names under his catalog than Golovkin does. Because to me, Mayweather fought everybody towards the end of his career, and
no, the beginning too. The beginning too. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I kind of look at it like the same, and how can I say it? I think it's like overhyped. They're overhyping Golovkin, and I really think that he just falls in the same category as like a Floyd Mayweather to me, because it's like, to me, Floyd ducked a lot of guys that he should have fought, like Golovkin should have fought Andre Ward, and he ducked that one. So, I feel that, at the time, Floyd could have fought Paul Williams or Antonio Margarito or fought Cotto in his prime, and, I look at little things like that,
Okay,
So,
well, let me first ask you this question. If they are doing the same thing and Golovkin is 35 right now, why isn't Golovkin being praised like Floyd Mayweather today? Like, why are people like Teddy Atlas saying he's not even in the top 10? When Floyd was in the top 10, Floyd was pound for pound the best, like when he was in his early 30s. So, I mean, how do you compare them if they're not achieving the same accomplishments or accolades?
Well, I look at it as Floyd had the names to beat, and Golovkin is just not to be racist, but I think he's white, and everybody's hyping him up because he's
no
a
doubt.
white boy and he's knocking everybody out. I'm just being honest.
Well, Abel Sanchez told me personally the reason why he decided to work with him was because he was white and he knew how he would be received in the sport of boxing with that complexion for the protection. So go ahead. So I'm just saying, even his own trainer agrees with that assessment. So go ahead.
No, I understand that. And to me, it's like he's going to fight Jacobs. So perfect example, like Floyd. Floyd fought what's his name? Oh my goodness, that guy. Zab Judah. He fought Zab Judah. I knew he was going to be Zab Judah. Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez. I knew he was going to be Canelo Alvarez. He fought Arturo Gatti. I knew he was going to be Arturo Gatti. It's this same pattern.
Well, just knowing. Hold on. Let me go back to the Canelo situation real quick. And I know AK and Kirk, I know you guys want to chime in, but before you guys chime in, because this is going to be fun. But let me go ahead and just ask you this question with Canelo. If Canelo, let's just reverse things real quick. If Canelo was the one that was almost 40 years old, he was naturally the smaller guy at 147. And Floyd was at age 23, 24, right? And he was the one that wanted to fight against the old lion, and he was naturally bigger, and he's in his prime. Who would you have picked to win that fight?
Come on, you know who.
So yeah, we know it's Floyd Mayweather. So my point is, doesn't that show that Floyd Mayweather is on a complete different level? If Floyd, when he's old, you knew he was going to be a young, much bigger, 15 pounds bigger and stronger. You knew he was still going to beat him.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off. But
Go ahead.
He made Canelo come down. Come on, bro.
He made him come down. So you think? What do you think would happen? What do you think would have been different if Canelo would have had the 2 pounds? What do you think would have been different in the fight?
Listen. He made him come down 2 pounds, and then on top of it, he was still young. Let's now we talking boxing here. Let's compare Floyd Mayweather's amateur international experience compared to Canelo fighting all over Mexico. Come on, man. You got Floyd Mayweather at 16 years old beating guys from freaking Australia, and you got freaking Canelo beating guys from Cancun, Mexico. It's a difference.
That's my point. But you making my point though. And one more thing though, like you said, if Floyd Mayweather, think about this for a second. Once again, you have a guy almost 40 years old, and he's fighting against a guy that's young enough to be his son, 15, 20 pounds bigger than him, undefeated at a higher weight class. And you feel that the old man had more of. Wait, hold on. You feel the old man had more of an advantage over this young man, but you just admitted that if it was the other way around, Floyd would have won in all of those situations in the same circumstance, right?
Okay, but to me, I look at it like a guy like Canelo Alvarez caters to Floyd's style. Because he comes straight in, he has poor head movement, he doesn't have a jab at all, so it's just like he's a stationary target. So that's why it plays good for guys like Floyd.
But see, the thing is,
when he fought Oscar,
AK, I'm gonna let AK respond because I know he want to say something, but I'll just say something real quick. Before Floyd signed the contract to fight Canelo, people were saying that Floyd Mayweather was ducking Canelo. I still got the comments in the comment section, but A-Rab, go ahead and chime in.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, people will say Floyd Mayweather is ducking Canelo, and then he's ducking him, and he's afraid of him. And Canelo called him out when he was 19 years old, actually. So it took almost like 3 years when that fight actually took place after Canelo called him out. But forget Canelo for a second, because you got to keep in mind, that's Floyd Mayweather's fifth weight class that he moved up to fight Canelo. Like, that's his fifth weight class. And Floyd Mayweather started at 154. That's like he fighting a Canelo at 200 pounds. Or like a heavyweight. But anyway, Floyd Mayweather, when he started his career, first of all, when Floyd Mayweather started his career, it took him 1 year to fight for his belt at 130. He fought the best guy.
He fought Gennaro Hernandez. That's 50 years old. That was already on his way out.
Hold on now. Let's get the facts straight. Let's get the facts straight. When he fought,
rest in peace, Gennaro Hernandez.
No. Hold on.
Let me finish my point.
All right, go ahead.
So he moved up to 130. I mean, he didn't move up. He fought the best guy at 130. Regardless if you think he's old or not, he beat the best guy at 130 pounds at that time. Now, when he also fought Corrales, another guy who was on the top pound-for-pound list. He knocked him out.
Who had a glass jaw. Yeah, all right.
Wait, who had a glass jaw?
When he had a glass jaw?
Who did he just say? Diego Corrales?
Did you say, you didn't say Corrales had a glass jaw, did you?
No, No. Wait. I'm thinking of Diego. Yeah, Diego Corrales.
You had a glass jaw?
Dog, Diego Corrales had a margarita.
Like 4 times?
Oh, we can't. Well, you know what? It's no reason to keep talking after you said that. It's no reason to talking after you keep saying you just.
It's okay though. Let's keep going. Though. Let's keep going. Last jaw or not, he still came back in one of the best comeback in history. That's the glass guy you're talking about.
Now, the guy that he fought that was a tough challenge was Castillo. That's the guy. It's Castillo. Yeah, he fought him twice, and the first time he beat him, and you all know that too. That's why he beat him.
Wait.
Let me say this.
Wait. I have a question. Didn't Glassjaw Corrales beat Castillo?
Wow.
Oh, come on, man. Are you?
What do you mean? Come on. What do you mean? Come on. You just first of all.
You know what? He beat him. But it was like, oh man, come on.
Hey, bro.
That fight could have went either way. That fight could have went either way. We both know that.
Did he beat him?
He knocked him out.
No. He beat him. Yes, he did.
Corrales had.
That fight could have went either way.
Corrales had one of the best chins in boxing, man. His chin he had like a Margarito chin. Did you watch Corrales versus Robert Garcia? When Robert Garcia was the champion?
I'm getting confused between Corrales and Castillo. Castillo, which is the one that died? It was Corrales.
It was Corrales, but they both have a great chin, though. But both of them have a terrific chin, though.
I know that.
Anyway,
hey,
anyways, it don't matter if you think he has a glass jaw or not. His legacy still speaks for himself.
No, it does. But do you see the pattern of like Floyd? He fought that guy Corrales. They're from Corrales. Who he went to? Arturo Gatti. Do you really think Arturo Gatti had a chance? No, he didn't. And then he went to Zab Judah, which he sparred with him and was whipping his ass. Come on, man.
But who are you comparing?
Golovkin and Mayweather.
Hey, who are you comparing Floyd to? Who are you comparing Floyd Mayweather to when it comes to who you would say is the best fighter?
All I'm saying, I said that Triple G is a cherry picker, and then Mayweather is another cherry picker.
How can
wind up picking guys? You see, like perfect example, like Jacobs. I wish that Jacobs could beat Triple G, but I know he can't beat him because he has a glass jaw, and I feel that he's going to put up a good fight the first half, and then towards like the 7th or 8th round, Triple G's going to catch him with some stupid shit, and then he's going to get knocked out. I hope that he could stand up to his power, but I don't think he could.
I had a question about the Margarito thing because you said Mayweather ducked him. Who did Margarito ever beat really to get a shot at Floyd? Do you know who he beat?
No, because so now wasn't Margarito, I think, top 5, and then I think Cotto had to fight Margarito because nobody wanted to fight him. So I think Margarito was the champion.
Who did he beat?
I have a better question. I got a better question than that, but go ahead.
No. At that time, I think Paul Williams had a belt, Margarito had a belt, Cotto had a belt, and Floyd had a belt. All 4 of them had a belt around that time, and throughout that time, Floyd had fought Oscar, and then he saw that he had to fight one of those guys, and he was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna retire. So then he retires, and then he waits for all these guys to fight each other, and then he comes back in the scene, and then who he fights? Juan Manuel Marquez?
Wait.
Ricky Hatton, that Collazo almost.
Wait a minute. Wait, but Marquez knocked out Pacquiao though. So what do you mean when you say?
We both know that Styles makes
fights.
Of course.
But you can't take away credit.
There's no style that could be Floyd.
But you can't give credit. You can't give credit to Marquez. Hold on.
Why didn't Floyd Mayweather fight Paul Williams when Paul Williams had to move up in weight because he couldn't get a Mayweather fight and he was calling him out? He had to get knocked out by Sergio Martinez.
Okay, but once again, this is the question.
Why didn't Miguel Cotto fight him? Because he called out Miguel Cotto plenty of times right after he knocked out Carlos Quintana.
But see, we getting
and
away.
Cotto had nothing to say about that.
We getting
Cotto,
away.
and then wanted to make the. And Mayweather tried to make the fight with Cotto at 140, but Cotto wasn't trying to fight him because they said he was too green.
We are getting away from the point right now because the point, what it really comes down to is one question or two. Who are we comparing him to? Like you said, you're comparing him to Gennady Golovkin. We already know that Floyd Mayweather, by the time he was in his early 20s, he was already fighting better competition than Golovkin. You admitted yourself that. Well, hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish. Now, you already admitted at the beginning of this conversation that Floyd was fighting better competition at the end of his career. That's what you said.
No. I said he had better names. He had better names.
But this is what I'm asking you. This is the last question. If Floyd Mayweather is a cherry picker, like Gennady Golovkin, who would you say has beat better competition than Floyd Mayweather in the last 25 years?
Like I said, it comes down to the names. Look, listen.
Answer the question, bro. You got to answer the question though. Because look, if I told you someone was a cherry picker, there would be nobody you can compare that person to, to where it would contradict my point.
So like perfect example, Andre Ward could have cherry picked Kovalev. But no, what did Andre Ward do? He fought.
Hold on, dog. You never answered my question, dog. You never answered my question. We getting away from the question. Since Floyd is a cherry picker to you, you should be able to name tons of fighters that beat better competition than a cherry picker, right? So who would you say has beat better competition than Floyd Mayweather in the last 25 years?
I'm just off the top. I'm trying to think of the top of my head.
You're gonna be thinking for a while.
I understand what you're saying. See, the difference between Triple G and Mayweather is that in their divisions, there is no big names for Triple G to fight. So now, let's say if Triple G and Floyd Mayweather had the same amount of names, big names, because Floyd fought all his big names on their way out, besides Canelo Alvarez. And to be honest, Pacquiao, he waited 5 years to fight Pacquiao. Why he didn't fight him after Cotto?
Let me answer that question. You talking to a reporter, bro. And let me just say this. I have the video, and I'll put the link in the description box. I'll pull it up. See, you got to know what you're talking about before you bring this stuff up, because Freddie Roach, he said on camera that it was Manny Pacquiao's fault that they didn't get the fight in 2008 because Manny Pacquiao didn't want to take the drug test. Then he said that he believes that Bob Arum wanted that to be Manny Pacquiao's last fight. So that answers your question right there. On top of that, when Floyd fought Manny Pacquiao was considered pound for pound number 2, the best fighter in the world. And all of the polls that were conducted before the fight of who would win that fight, guess who they had winning that fight? They had Manny Pacquiao as the favorite with all the polls that they had did. Even on the Showtime HBO pay-per-view poll, they had Manny Pacquiao as winning the fight. So how can you take credit away from a guy who beat a number 2 or number 3 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world? You can't. How many past their prime fighters do you know that were considered pound for pound number 2 or number 3 in the world? If that's the case, then everybody in the top 3 right now, pound for pound, are past their prime. You feel me? So,
and then, Dante, and then another thing, if you're comparing them to Golovkin, you're saying Golovkin doesn't have the names that Floyd Mayweather has when he fought, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How many weight divisions did Golovkin move? Floyd Mayweather moved up 5 divisions. He fought the number 1 guy at 130, the number 1 guy.
Yeah, like I said, but that's why I mentioned those names. He went up to 130 and fought.
No, but it's like you're
brother, I gotta let you go, man. But definitely call back, man. I really enjoyed the conversation. Call back anytime, but I just gotta get to another call. All right, fam.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, take care, man. All right.
Dante, so let me finish my point.
Let me just say, was that 908? I don't remember. Okay. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but
okay.
Anyway, like he's comparing him to Golovkin, and Golovkin, he never moved up in weight to begin with. He's talking about Golovkin could move up in weight and fight names at 168. There's a lot of names at 168. There's names at 175. That's a huge name that Floyd Mayweather fought with Canelo. And Canelo offered him $15 million, and he still didn't take that fight.
Of
course.
So
how do you compare a guy like that to Floyd Mayweather? Where Floyd Mayweather when he moved up in weight, he fought the best guys at every division. He called out Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley was 35 and 32, and he's 35-0, and with 32 knockouts at lightweight. And Mosley didn't want that fight, and he moved up 2 weight classes and beat Oscar De La Hoya.
Listen,
right? He tried to fight Cotto when Cotto was undefeated. Cotto turned that fight down. He beat the guy at 140. That was the best guy at 140. when Hatton called him out, and then he moved up in weight, and Floyd Mayweather beat him at 147, people said, oh, why he didn't fight him at 140? Because Hatton turned that fight down at 140 before Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, because the risk wasn't good enough for Hatton at that time. So don't compare no Floyd Mayweather to no Golovkin, where Golovkin is kind of ducking the best competition that's around him, and the names that he could fight. He don't want to move up in weight, or he don't want to fight Eric Lara at 150, the guy from 154, because it's a risky fight, or it's an ugly fight, or whatever the reason is. And you comparing that guy to Floyd Mayweather.
Listen, man.
That
and we go and real quick, and for you guys, and real quick, not to cut you off, AK, but just to let people know on hold, we're gonna take another call in a minute. But let me just go ahead and say it one more time, man. Look at the shirt, man. Look at the shirt, man. It takes a nation of 1 million. We're going to have to get another shirt. It takes a nation of 1 zillion decals to hold me back. Now, when that man first said that Corrales had no chin, the conversation should have ended right then and there. You know what I mean? It should have ended right then and there. I mean, that's like a suspect, that's like finding out that the suspect, he got his blood, all in the motherfucking room, and he's saying he ain't never been to that house before. You feel me? I mean, that's the smoking gun right there. The conversation should have ended right then and there. But we were talking about this earlier, weren't we, guys? We were talking about the problem with a lot of boxing fans is they cannot separate their personal emotions from talking boxing. They let their emotions cloud their vision. Therefore, what they say, it makes no sense at all. Like I keep telling you guys, when Sergey Kovalev, when I found out that he was calling black people monkeys and all kind of stuff like that, I still give Sergey Kovalev credit for how good he is. I'm not going to now tell you all of a sudden he's a bitch. He don't know how to throw a jab. He throws the weakest jab. Look at how he fucking tied up, Ward on the inside. He's this. I don't do that because I can separate my personal feelings from talking boxing. And the majority of people in the sport of boxing, they can't do that. In the sport of boxing, they can't do that. And it's just that simple. So let's go ahead and take another call. Once again, Cat's been on hold for a while. I really appreciate you guys staying on hold. Let's see what we got here. We got 443. What's going on, 443?
Hey, what's going on, Dante?
All right, man. What's good with you? Where you calling from?
Oh, my name's Denzel. I'm calling from Maryland.
From where?
Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Got you. All right, man. What's on your mind, man?
First off, I got to say, man, that dude that y'all had on the line, y'all should have ended that like 30 seconds in. That was ridiculous. And all fair, that was crazy. That nonsense, I don't know.
It was entertaining, though.
Go ahead.
Say that again? I said it was entertaining, though, but go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to touch on was the whole Kell Brooks situation and Earl Spence.
Okay. What's your thoughts on
that's
that?
What I'm interested in. I think y'all cast. I think y'all giving Earl Spence just a little bit too much praise right now. I think he's very good, and he will one day definitely be one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But we got to see what he can do against Kell Brooks, because we got to remember that's just a start that we all have. We all
totally
see
agree.
The process.
Well,
so we got to be able to see what he can do, because Kell Brooks ain't no chump.
Hey, I totally agree. But see, this is what you guys have to realize. There's a difference from saying what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Basically, what I mean is there's a difference from saying Kell Brooks, he needs to fight is mandatory. That's not the same thing as saying I think that this is a walk in the park for Errol Spence. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, I've said over and over, the toughest fight for Errol Spence is Kell Brooks. I believe that Kell Brooks will be tougher than Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, and everybody else at welterweight for Errol Spence. So this is not really about us just saying Errol Spence just walks, right through him. Regardless, even if I thought Kell Brooks would win the fight, I would still say you need to fight your mandatory. Why are you not fighting your mandatory? So that's really what this conversation is about, is why isn't Kell Brooks fighting his mandatory? And if Kell Brooks really believed what you just said right now, that Errol Spence is not ready, he would have took this fight as quick as he took the Kevin Bizer fight. You feel me? So I mean, I don't even think Kell Brook believes what you just said right now. But you know, because actions speak louder than words. You know, but I agree with you to a certain extent. We don't really know. We don't know for sure how great Errol Spence is. But if I had to put my money on a horse, that's the money I'm putting that's the horse I'm putting my money on, and I'll put it that way. Anyone want to? Go ahead.
I'm reading somewhere the purse bid was postponed.
Yeah, which I was going to touch on that, and that's another thing. If he easy, because remember this, Kell Brook, he didn't delay or extend the purse bid. It didn't even go to a purse bid when it came to the Golovkin fight. There was never a time where he asked to extend a purse bid with all his other mandatories. So the question is, rhetorical question, why is he doing all of this with with Errol Spence and no one else, including Gennady Golovkin? But go ahead, man.
But that's one of my points, though. If he gonna get in there with Golovkin, a lot of these guys are saying he's scared of Errol Spence. That don't make no sense. That's a contradiction.
I'll explain it.
Get in there with somebody like Golovkin.
I'll explain it, bro. Once again, this is the difference. When Kell Brook went up to fight against Gennady Golovkin, he was in a win-win situation because he's moving up 2 weight classes. He's a massive underdog. If he loses, now on top of that, they allowed him to keep his belt at welterweight. So if he loses, he's still the welterweight champion. He makes the biggest payday, and on top of it, people say, "Well, damn, he lost to a middleweight and the best middleweight there." So he didn't really lose a whole lot. And then on top of it, he was smart enough to, for his corner to stop the fight before he got damaged real bad. So he didn't really. Right. So the difference is when it comes to Kell Brook, like you just said yourself, when it comes to Errol Spence, like you just said yourself, Errol Spence doesn't have the experience that Kell Brook has. So think about the pressure that's on Kell Brook. People are already accusing Kell Brook of ducking Errol Spence. Errol Spence he doesn't have the experience that Kell Brook has. On top of it, he's in Kell Brook's division. So if he loses to Kell Brook, if he loses to Errol Spence, wouldn't that be totally different than him losing to Gennady Golovkin? It'll be a lose-lose situation, right?
So you think he's just looking for paydays now?
What's that?
You think he's looking for paydays now?
Who, Kell Brook?
Yeah.
I think Kell Brook is looking for guys that he knows that he can beat, period. I think he's looking for guys he knows. I won't even say he's looking for paydays, because if that was the case, he would have gave up his belt when they told him to fight Kevin Bizer. The other mandatories. He's looking for guys that he believes he can beat. And it's very obvious when you look at the chronological pattern that this man, he's doing things totally different than he did when he had other mandatories. AK, Kirk, you guys want to touch on this?
Yeah, I mean, like as far as Kell Brook, I mean, Dante, you nailed it, because like if he's saying he's too big for 147, the reason why he's not too willing to go to 154 right now, because the division's too hot. Who he's gonna fight 154 that has a belt? That's gonna be an easy fight. You know what I mean? Like you got Lara, you got Demetrius Andrade, you got so many fighters that is really, you know what I mean? They're gonna be even probably tougher fights than the Errol Spence fight. So that's why he's in a tight situation. And as far as Errol Spence, yeah, you do want to see head movement sometimes, but nobody, like his opponent so far, ain't giving him the reason to show it yet. So that's why we want to see the Kell Brook fight even more, because I know for sure that he's gonna have to move his head, because Kell Brook shows the 1-2 a lot. So you know what I mean, we get to see both sides. You know what I mean, like how good Errol Spence is, and who's the best guy 147 or the second best guy. So it's just the fact that, you know what I mean, Kell Brook at the end of the day, he just want to take the biggest money fights with the lowest risk. But with the Golovkin situation, it was a different, because his mandatory was Errol Spence, and he kind of needed a way to get out of it and make a lot of money and still keep his belt, which he did that.
Yeah, and let me say this too. You guys have to remember, a lot of fighters that made that transition from prospect to contender, they came in to fight in the same position that Errol Spence is, which is they never fought anyone. This happened to Floyd Mayweather. Since the other caller brought Mayweather's name up, this happened to Floyd. When Floyd was fighting against Gennaro Hernandez, Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant and other pundits and other media members, they were saying, look at the arrogance, look at the cockiness of Mayweather to think he can come in the ring with only 17 fights and fight a lineal champion and beat him. They said it was a complete mistake. He didn't have the experience to do it, and we know what happened once that first bell rang. You know what I mean? The rest is history. So, it happens all the time. But, hey, man, thanks for your call, man. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Call in anytime. All right, man? Okay, I think okay. All right, so anyway, man, so that's that situation. And, guys, I'm glad that you have people saying stuff like this so we can go ahead and explain it for the people who don't understand what's actually going on right now. I mean, the bottom line is, Kirk, let me ask you, man, if you had to bet, is Kell Brook going to fight Errol Spence or vacate?
I think he's going to vacate.
You think he's going to vacate?
Because that's really, if he fights Errol Spence, that's back-to-back tough fights for him. And I think he's going to really consider his health at the end of the day as well.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a good chance that Kell Brook could, if he were to fight Errol Spence, he can beat him. I don't want to take nothing away from him. He is a champion. He's shown that when he's in the ring, he is, skilled as a fighter. But we're looking at Errol Spence. He's another animal. And not only is he trying to win, if they were to fight, this being his first title fight, he's trying to knock this dude out. He wants to be decisive. He wants to make sure that there is no doubt that he is the champion, and that there's basically, to borrow from LeBron last week, there's a new sheriff in town, basically. So
yeah.
I don't think he's gonna try and fight him. I'm surprised he didn't get the deal finalized with Amir Khan, but.
Well, Amir Khan already made it clear. Amir Khan, he put Kell Brook in a real bad situation because he said, you know what, I don't want to fight you if we're not fighting for the belt, which makes sense. But see, this is what this was kind of confusing me right now, because when I first found out or read this news that Eddie Hearn, he just recently said that we're close to a deal. We just need a week to close the deal. What doesn't make sense to me, AK, is they stand to make 75% of the split if it goes to purse bid. So why are they trying to prolong a purse bid? I mean, do you think they're possibly negotiating with someone else that we don't know about, AK, or what you think?
Man, Hearns in the past, he even said Errol Spence turned down the fight. So, I mean, I wouldn't believe.
Who said it?
Hearn.
Hearn. Okay.
Yeah, the promoter, Kell Brook promoter, he, like in the past, he stated that Vargas, even Errol Spence, and a lot of guys turned the fight down, and come to find out, nobody turned the fight down. And it's kind of like, you can't trust what he says because that's his promoter, and he don't want to make his fighter look bad. But as far as, it don't make no sense because you know what the split is. He took the Golovkin fight, they made the fight, the Golovkin fight happen in 2 days. And that was a fight that should be hard to make because of the weight situation. Kell Brook should have got paid more money because he's the bigger name and he's moving up in weight. And they took that fight in an instant. And you got, what your split is versus Errol Spence. You know all the details. You know the guy want to fight you. It ain't gonna be too many. He will go to the UK to fight you. So why are you delaying the fight? What is all this hold up for?
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight.
He doesn't want to fight is what it sounds like. It is what it sounds
just
like.
Just like the Jesse Vargas thing. They never intended to make that fight either. And I don't think they ever really intended to make the Golovkin and Eubank fight.
That's a good point.
And if he wouldn't fight Vargas, if he wouldn't fight Vargas, how is he going to fight Errol Spence? That's my question. Because he could have beat Vargas. And that was for belt. That's unifying division. And you're talking about Errol Spence? Come on, man. But my gut and my feelings, they telling me he's going to vacate. But I don't know. Another side of me is telling me that it's too much pressure on him. And if he vacates, who is he really going to fight? I mean, 154 is not too many. And unless he's going to really go back to cherry picking. Because other than Porter,
which will ruin his reputation big time he'll take a huge hit. And let me just say this. And let me just say this, because the talk is he wants to fight Miguel Cotto. Of course, Miguel Cotto, his opponent James Kirkland just pulled out. But like I just said in my video earlier today, we all know that when it comes to Miguel Cotto, he is a serious player when it comes to that negotiation table. You know what I mean? He wants everything his way. So it's not easy to negotiate with Miguel Cotto. Canelo and Sergio Martinez, they will attest to that. So with that being said, it wouldn't be as easy as Kell Brook thinks, to just give up his belt and fight against Miguel Cotto. On top of that, like you just said, AK, if he goes back to cherry picking, his reputation takes a massive hit, because there's no way you're going to be able to explain that you only want big fights and then you fight a smaller known guy than Errol Spence in your next fight, and you give up your belt to fight a tomato can. That wouldn't make no damn sense. Let me go ahead and take another call real quick, man. Thanks for holding, man. We got 832. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Tate? The boy Jimmy J Smooth out the 832, man. What's popping and what's dropping, man?
Hey, man, you tell me, man. It's all good, man. Where you calling from again?
I'm calling out of Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? But to address that caller they called earlier talking about Floyd Mayweather cherry pick Antonio Margarito. First of all, Floyd Mayweather was calling out Zab Judah when he was undisputed welterweight champion.
And everybody wanted to see that fight at the time. Yeah. Go ahead.
Exactly. And Zab Judah is just not coming off his biggest win of his career against Corey Spinks. Mm-hmm. So it made no sense to fight Margarito. Now, even though he agreed to fight Margarito, according to Top Rank, in an ESPN article, which is a lot of casual fans won't say that, you know what I'm saying? The problem was he couldn't get the Ricky Hatton fight because, like you said earlier, Ricky Hatton backed out. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted $12 million to fight Margarito, which it made sense. Floyd Mayweather was the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So if I'm asking $12 million, Bob Arum should have easily came out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? So since Bob Arum did not want to come out of pocket, he went to Zab Judah and said, hey, I want to fight you. Zab Judah at the particular time said, I want to fight Carlos Baldomir. Yeah. And he got upset at Carlos Baldomir. Yeah. So I wish some of these decaps would just stop talking all over the place and wasting your time, you know what I'm saying, and get easily debunked, you know what I'm saying, because, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if you know anything about Tariq Nasheed, but you like the Tariq Nasheed of boxing talk, man. You're the Tariq Nasheed of boxing talk, because ain't nobody, you finna kill everybody's so-called talking point, because a lot of times they're speaking from a place of emotion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, man. But I really appreciate that. But that's why it's good every now and then. It's good to get a decaf on here every now and then, because we get to shut down every ridiculous, comment that they push out there in the comment section and even on the streets. We get to respond to all of that and shut it all down with one conversation. So that's why it's good every now and then to get a decaf to call in. But hey, man, I appreciate all the decafs watching. I mean, they some of my biggest supporters, so I appreciate all the decafs, Yeah, so but feel free to call in, We always gonna respect you, but we just gonna have to sit you down in that class and educate you. That's just all it is. But
I already know, brother. Yeah. I already know, brother, man. And I'm like your biggest fan, brother, because, man, you break down the facts, brother. You break down the undisputed facts, man. You know what I'm saying? When you talk, can't nobody dispute what you saying, man. You straight clown them without actually clowning them, man. You know what I'm saying? So, get your dictionary ready, get your encyclopedia ready when you talk to Dante Boxing Nation, man. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up too long, man. So much respect, family.
I appreciate you.
I want to say something right quick, man. First of all, man, I like your style, man. I can tell you watch Dante Boxing Nation because you saying a lot of facts, and just you brought up a great point. He got with the why he took the Zab Judah fight, and right after the Zab Judah fight, I think he took the Baldomir fight or something like that when he fought Baldomir right after, and Baldomir was the champion at 147, and people saying, oh, he's ducking Baldomir and he's fighting Zab, and he fought him right after, and we saw what happened in that fight. Floyd Mayweather hurt his hand,
and won every round in that fight. So, and Margarito is a cheater anyway. The guy had, we know how that fight would have ended anyway. Look, he would have got outboxed.
Yeah.
And he was a cheater anyway. So why even bring him up?
Yeah.
Well, they never bring up who did Margarito even beat for the belt. And when people were ducking him, Paul Williams actually stepped up to the plate and destroyed Margarito.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the guy that was getting whooped at 154 by Daniel Santos. I mean, people just talk in circles. They don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm gonna bring up one more thing.
No, go ahead, bro.
WBO title.
You're gonna be my last caller.
Title,
I said you're gonna be my last caller. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, the WBO title that Margarito held was not even a sanctioned belt at the particular time that Floyd Mayweather, he was trying to follow, well, when they say Floyd Mayweather ducked Margarito. So miss me with all that Floyd Mayweather ducked Margarito, because it's too many variables to explain there, brother.
Way too many. But once again, like I asked, like, once I froze dude with the one question that he, didn't want to answer because he knew he might have to tell the actual truth. The bigger picture, once again, is who are we comparing him to? If I were to tell you this fighter in particular was overrated, he's a cherry picker. And if you ask me the question, well, who would you say is better? Who would you say has fought better competition? Oh, I'll be like, oh, this dude, this guy, oh, and that guy. I wouldn't even hesitate. But you notice when someone tries to completely, discredit Floyd Mayweather or berate him, you ask them that question and they stump. They don't know what to say because they know that no one has faced better competition, and not just faced. No one has beat better competition than Floyd. That shuts down the whole conversation because anybody, I can name any fighter from Sugar Ray Robinson to Henry Armstrong that has been accused of ducking someone. Once again, the Black Murderers Row. The Black Murderers Row. They were known for being ducked by all of the big name fighters, but people still call Sugar Ray Robinson the greatest fighter of all time. It's not so much about how many games you've lost, but how many times you've actually won the Super Bowl, right? So if you have a football team that has won more Super Bowls than any other NFL team, how do you compare? How do you compare them? Discredit them and compare them to anyone else? You can't, because they're sitting on the top. So that's pretty much how we break that shit down. But man. So that's pretty much what that is, man. But once again, I'll let you go, family. Thanks for your time, man.
Appreciate that, brother. All
right, take care, man. We got another call, man. We got an international call, so let's go ahead and take this call. We got 61 661-0. What's going on, man? International.
Dante, how you going?
What's going on? I figured UK, right?
Actually, no, Australia.
Australia. That was my second guess. What's going on, brother? I'm glad to get my first Australian call, man. Shots out. What was?
Yeah, look, No, you go. That's okay.
What's your name?
My name's John.
Okay, John. What's on your mind, John?
I just wanted to obviously discuss the purse bid and the postponement with Brooke. And I think it's just clearly a mechanism allowing Eddie Hearn to negotiate for another fight, so they can downgrade the amount of negativity that's going to occur as a result when they don't take the fight. So.
Wow, that's a great breakdown, and what you said, it makes a lot of sense. And Kirk, didn't you touch on that? I think it was you that kind of alluded to that. You said that maybe this is a way for them to negotiate, because when you think about it, it doesn't logically make sense. The fact that they've never done this before, Kell Brook, they stand to make more money in a purse bid split, like I said. So why would you be pushing the purse bid when you're going to be at an advantage with a purse bid? You get to have the fight in the UK. You get 75% split. So you're right. That's the only thing that logically makes sense, when it comes to that situation. I totally agree with you on that. So, what do you think? You think he's going to try to go with Cotto? Is that what you think, or what? John?
I'm not entirely sure. Look, I mean, obviously no one knows who they're discussing fight talks with and negotiating with, but having said that, I mean, at the end of the day, like most people, I'm really hopeful that the two of them will get it on and fight. But I don't think it looks promising at this point.
Not at all, man. Excellent breakdown, man. It makes a lot of sense. Anything else on your mind before I let you go, man?
No, that's pretty much it. I just it was good to call in and participate. So thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, no problem, man. Take care. Call in anytime, man. All right, man.
Cheers. Thanks, buddy.
All right, my man John from Australia. We international. That's how I go down. So, yeah, man. But that, he broke it down beautifully. I mean, because that's exactly what it looks like right now. There, this gives them time. But see, at the same time, though, AK, at the same time, why do they need to hold the belt longer to negotiate with someone else? The IBF is not going to let them hold the belt. So that's why this situation is so confusing. You feel me, AK?
Yeah, I mean, I forgot who brought up the Cotto fight because, I mean, I just thought about it. Cotto, his fight got canceled. I forgot what's the reason why. I don't even know why the fight got canceled or postponed.
I think Kirkland pulled out.
He got an injury.
Yeah.
He got injured in sparring, I believe.
Gotcha. So that could be the reason why that he, he want to take the Cotto fight as soon as he vacates the belt and not fight Errol Spence, so he won't get criticized as much. Because then he could say, "Oh, well, I took a bigger name and a bigger fight, and I think Cotto is even better than Errol Spence, and this and that, and his resume speaks for himself." And you know what I mean? So he won't receive a lot of criticism. So that's why they're trying to do that. Because right now, if he vacates, he's gonna receive so much criticism that it might even affect the Cotto fight getting made. So that was a great point by the caller who just called a while ago from Australia. That's a great point he made.
Yeah, and I wanted
if
to.
If he loses to either guy, if he loses to Cotto, I mean, they can always say, "Oh, well, I lost to a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest Puerto Rican fighters of all time, and a former middleweight champion, blah blah blah."
Yeah, I mean,
I moved up the weight. Yeah, because they're gonna, I don't know where the fight gonna take place, but I'm pretty sure it's closer to 154.
I mean, I just think he's looking at it as the lesser of two evils, basically. In this case, I guess it would be the lesser threat. Both, no doubt about it, Cotto would be tough competition, higher weight class, and that's not the easiest fight either. It's not really an easy fight at all, but at the same time, I think realistically, Kell Brook is looking at it like, who do I have a better chance of beating? I have a better chance of beating Miguel Cotto. Even if both of these guys are going to be tough, I have a better chance of beating Cotto. This is what Carl Frampton said when he had an option to either fight his mandatory, Guillermo Rigondeaux, or Rigondeaux, which Rigo told me is actually pronounced Rigondeaux, but anyway. But, that was Carl Frampton's situation. Should I fight pound for pound, top three, one of the best fighters in the world? Or should I move up to a higher weight class and fight a flat-footed, Leo Santa Cruz? And we seen what happened. So, that's the situation. And I wanted to elaborate a little bit on, because I didn't really touch on it enough, of what Teddy Atlas said about Gennady Golovkin. Teddy Atlas said that Golovkin is as physically strong and tough as anyone on the list, but I also believe there are others with better technique. I also believe he may be slipping. I understand he might have been sick when he looked very ordinary at times against Kell Brook, but sick or not, his technical flaws were evident. Also, his level of competition has been questionable or at least very advantageous for him. So this is what Teddy Atlas said about Gennady Golovkin. AK, I don't know if you was on the phone when we were talking about this, but Teddy Atlas, what he said about Golovkin when it comes to where he rates him. Oh yeah, that's right. You were the one that said that you see Golovkin at the bottom 10. But I just wanted to quote exactly what Teddy Atlas said. So that's what he said. And once again, I want fans at home, decafs, to understand something. For all you guys trying to really play the race card and trying to make it seem like it's just these black bastards that keep saying these things because they don't like Golovkin, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually you're going to have to come to a reality check and start asking yourself, why are people like Teddy Atlas, Matt Korobov, Ruslan Provodnikov, Sergey Kovalev, Paulie Malignaggi, Why are all of these guys saying the same thing and none of them are black? Not only are they not black, but the majority of them are from Europe, okay? So you guys have to ask yourself this question. Why are all of these professional boxers that do this for a living, why are they all asking the exact same question? And maybe, not maybe, it's because it's true. But see, deep down, the boxing fans, they know that, these things are true. They just feel, hey, man, if you riding with us, you don't tell nobody the truth about that. Because if you're a fan of Golovkin, et cetera, and that's once again, going back to that emotional talk, you basically, if you down with my gang, you down with my gang regardless what type of dirt we do. I don't care if we shooting up, kids at parks and all that kind of stuff. If we just killing, if we just doing whatever, you ride with us. You don't say nothing negative about what we do. And this is the type of mentality that decavs have. They know that the shit that we say makes sense. They know that the stuff that me, Kirk Jackson, Arab King, Teddy Atlas, and everyone else, they know it logically makes sense, but they just don't want to hear it because it does not fit their narrative. And that's what it comes down to. So with that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. We are definitely out of time. I want to say thanks once again to the crew, the panel, my man Kirk Jackson. Go ahead and check out his articles on BoxingInsider.com. Go ahead and subscribe to Arab King, man, if you haven't already done it. He always speaking the truth, giving you more of that logic. And shouts out to my special guest, man, the undefeated light heavyweight prospect, Anthony Yarde. Y'all gonna be hearing a lot about him. He's like the Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones in the UK, not trying to put too much pressure on him, but that's his style. Shout out to my man Jonathan Martinez, who works with, he's kind of like somewhat of a manager, representing Team Anthony Yarde. All right, y'all. So we going to go ahead and wrap it up. Once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We will be doing this show on Mondays, all right, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. You want to call in, go ahead and call in. You want to get your decaf thoughts, out, go ahead and do that as well. All right, but that's pretty much all we got, guys. We'll see you guys next week. It's the Nation, baby.